Good evening again. Coach LAMONICA here, certified life coach. I am an author. I am a speaker. I am a veteran. I help veterans transition out of the military. I'm also the CEO of Veterans Compass to Success. And make sure you put where you are watching from, what city and state you're actually watching from. If you could just put that in the comments for me. And then we're gonna go right into this. As you can see, the title says, I wasn't prepared to leave the Navy. I wasn't prepared in so many different ways, but I'm just gonna talk about 3 reasons why I was not prepared. Number 1, I was not prepared to have another job. I was not prepared to find the job. I didn't even know what that looked like, right? I literally had a 6-week notice that I was getting out of the military and I had to find a job. I didn't even know how to translate my current job skills from the military into civilian job skills. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know what job was going to be best for me. All I know is that I needed a job. So the number 1 area that I was not prepared for once I left was the job market. I didn't even know how to compile a resume, an efficient resume at the time that I got out. Didn't know too much about a cover letter, some of the basic things that we learned out of high school and some of us out of college. Because I went to the military so early, some of those things that the average person knew, I didn't. We're talking about 3 areas that I wasn't prepared for once I got out of the military. So the first one was I was not prepared for the job market. With such a short notice of me being discharged from the military, with having 6 weeks, I just went right into anxiety mode. It was just a sense of urgency of having a job. And so, I didn't have the luxury of time because I only had a limited amount of time. So that was number 1. Number 2, obviously, if I wasn't prepared for the job market, I wasn't prepared for stability with a home. I literally got out and then I moved to one of the most expensive states, probably got to be the top 5. If it's not the top 5, it's within the top 10 states of being the most expensive. New Jersey. Definitely comparable to New York, definitely comparable to San Francisco. And so I don't know exactly, but I know it was up there. So I got out. I didn't have a job, and then I relocated because I was living in Dallas at the time that I was discharged. Yes, did not know how to write a resume, not an effective one. And so, all these different decisions that I made with limited time, and I chose New Jersey because that was just a place that I was comfortable with. I knew a few people and I was like, on the whim. I knew I didn't want to stay in Dallas. Had no family there. It just wasn't a good experience. And to be quite honest, I was a little bit bitter when I got out. So I didn't want nothing to do with Dallas. I just knew I had to get up out of there. So with that being said, I was relying on unemployment. And when you're looking for an apartment, unemployment, although it is an income, it's not a valid proof of income. When you're trying to get an apartment, a landlord is like, why would I rent to you? You don't have a job. And so because of that, I was put in a position where I was temporary homeless. I could not, it took me a very long time to find a place because I did not have valid proof of income. Like, what landlord legitimately is going to give you a place if you don't even have a job, right? And so that was one of the circumstances. So that was number 2. And number 3, obviously, if I had a hard time getting a job, if I had a hard time finding a place, financially, I was not prepared. I did not develop a plan B. My life was I was going to retire out of the military, and then I would think about what I was going to do after those 20 years came up. And so because life did not happen like that for me, I was not financially prepared. Yes, I was bitter. Thank God I'm better now. But I was. So, just emotionally, financially, spiritually, just depleted because I was not prepared. I did not have a plan for a what if, because like I stated, my desires, my plans were to just stay in. So why am I talking about that? You know, everything that I'm talking about, typically when I have these conversations with other veterans, they let me know that they too have had some sort of difficulty transitioning out of the military. It doesn't matter if they retired, had some sort of income, it still was a transition. It still was difficult in some cases. And you know, everybody's difficulty looks different, but unfortunately it's not an uncommon theme that veterans struggle, that most veterans, not all veterans, but most veterans do have a difficult time when they're transitioning out of the military. And I strongly believe the longer that they were in, the harder it is for them to transition, because it is a totally different lifestyle. And so you guys, I am happy to share with you my story. I'm happy to talk about these things because it's having these type of conversations that are going to allow other veterans to become proactive and then not to be scared to talk about what their transition was like. You know, you don't have to be prideful in that area. You know, with statistics showing us that the homeless population veterans make up 49% of it. That means that there's some conversations that need to be had, because the resources are out there to help veterans, but for some reason, either they don't know about it, they don't know how to qualify. Yes, the transition is real. I love that, because it is. And it's just that, it's a transition. You know, you're coming from one thing to a totally different thing. And so I have partnered up with some other veterans. Right now, we are a part of the Veterans Compass to Success anthology. And I'm happy to be a part of this anthology because other veterans are being able to share their stories. And not only just share their stories from an emotional standpoint, but they're giving other veterans tools and tips. Because these stories are not just to make people sympathetic or to say, woe is me. Your transition was your transition, but during that transition, you learned something from it. You learned something really good that could help another veteran. And that's what this anthology is all about. Now, there's only 15 veterans that are going to be a part of this anthology. I am going to put the link in the comments. Right now, we only just have a few spots left. I'm cutting it off completely June 22nd. And so I just want to offer you the opportunity to be a part of this anthology, to become an author, to become a best-selling author, and to leave a legacy. And most importantly, help other veterans in this process. You guys that are veterans, that are in these veterans Facebook groups, I can't make these things up. Veterans are hurting. Every time I'm in certain Facebook groups, veterans specifically, are stating how they want to commit suicide. Like, this is real. This transition is real. And it's not enough, although people are consoling them and sympathizing, they have to have real tools. They have a story. And so it's important to just talk about it. Somebody else could have a story of how they overcame suicide, how they were almost gonna do it but didn't. And you know, how powerful would that be to help a veteran who is contemplating that? You know, and some stories aren't as extreme, but I'm just saying all that to say that there's definitely a need for veterans to come together with the knowledge that they have, with the tools that they've utilized, with the resources that they have utilized to help other veterans. So again, I am going to put the link in the comments. Reserve your spot, become an author. Decide today that you want to build a legacy. Decide today that you want to help other veterans. And, you know, just be a part of something that is similar to when you serve. You will be serving veterans in a different capacity. As an author, serving them, giving them the information that they need. Yes, have mercy. You know, these things that we go through in life, we know, and I'm reminded by seeing my aunt, that we overcome by our testimony. They're not stories that we're just supposed to keep to ourselves and just keep on going. They're stories that we're supposed to go ahead and express and let people know that, hey, if I got through this transition, you can get through this transition too. Again, this is time sensitive. You have to go ahead and click on the link in the comments and reserve your spot. The cutoff date is June 22nd. And again, this is only for 15 veterans. There's only a few spots left. So go ahead and do not hesitate to go ahead and partner up with Veterans Compass to Success Anthology. Again, share this video, invite someone to it. Tag someone that you know that's a veteran that could possibly benefit from this information, and be blessed.